10 Questions With, the show that asks the questions you want to ask, never thought to ask, but always gets answers. Welcome to 10 Questions With. Today our guest is Nick Swisher, 2009 World Series champ. Let's get right to it, Nick.
Is a walk as good as a hit?
Absolutely, baby. OBP, no doubt about it, man. Absolutely.
Favorite stadium, least favorite stadium?
Favorite stadium by far in the big leagues, Yankee Stadium, baby. Right behind your head, no doubt. One of the most amazing electric places you could ever wish to play. And one of my least favorite stadiums, maybe Kansas City. Kansas City's probably up there. Definitely.
What was with Kansas City that you don't like?
Bro, it's a monster ballpark. It was huge, right? Like fly balls for me to center field were outs. And so that ballpark I never really had a lot of luck in. I mean, it was massive. I like the smaller ballparks. Those are my favorite.
Day game or night games?
You know, I think my stats would say the day game would be the answer, but baby, I'm a night guy, bro. Like when the lights are on, that's when I want to be there. So definitely night game for me.
Player from your era that's not in the Hall of Fame that absolutely belongs?
Well, the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame is because he's still playing, and that guy would be somebody like a Justin Verlander, bro. I mean, to see what he's done ever since he came up in 2006. I mean, I came up in 2004, right before him, but to see what he's done and continued year in and year out to produce like that, I mean, that's pretty impressive. First ballot in my mind.
If you had a time machine and you could travel to any era of baseball and face one pitcher, who would that pitcher be and why?
I don't even necessarily think it would be one pitcher that I would want to face. I think I would more like to experience that sort of era, right? And if it was going to be like that, baby, it would be the 70s, bro. Take me back. I would have enjoyed all of that, bro. I mean, just, when baseball was it, and that was just like everybody wanted to be at those games. So I think if there was another era I could play in, it would have been the 70s. But, I don't know, man. I mean, from being just a baseball historian, it wouldn't have been bad to go back and face somebody like a Babe Ruth or somebody just to see what kind of stuff he really had, you know?
Awesome. Toughest pitcher you ever faced and the one pitcher you owned?
Toughest pitcher I ever faced, probably say Justin Verlander, bro. I mean, I got to face that cat from Jump Street, and he put it on me from the moment we met till the moment I retired. So he was definitely somebody that had my number. But for myself, somebody that I felt pretty good against, man, Dallas Keuchel, I have pretty good numbers against. You remember Kevin Millwood? I've got some pretty good numbers against him. Hit a few home runs against King Felix. So I don't know, man. I mean, everybody kind of gets a little bit of everybody if you play long enough,
Speaking of King Felix, so did you retire a year too early or a year too late?
I'd like to think it was about 10 years too early, but baby, when the body gives out, the body gives out. I think for myself, I was so blessed to go my first 10 years in the league and never one single injury, right? Never really missed any time for any big injuries. And then at the end of my career, man, as soon as I had those double knee surgeries in 2014, brother, it was downhill from there. So I guess it's a blessing and a curse just because it was such a quick fall that you really didn't have time to think about it. But for myself, I mean, with the energy I have, and bro, I thought I was going to play till I was like 50, right? You know what I mean? But I think for myself, I was able to do it, man. I was able to do it for a long time, and I'm proud of that.
Your thoughts on the current shift-itis in baseball?
I hate it, bro. Left-handed hitters, we hate shifts, bro. Covering up that hole in between second base. Now all of a sudden we got to start launch mode. I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, analytics is such a huge part of this game. And if you want to be part of the game moving forward, analytics is part of it. So, I mean, it's just like, going to Vegas and playing blackjack. I'm going to play blackjack because I feel like I have somewhat of an advantage, right? Like on the craps table as well, the numbers say I have an advantage. So if you're going to give me, a sheet of paper with all the percentages of where to play guys, I'm probably going to put them in that spot, right? I think that's just where it is. I think Major League Baseball's got a lot of things they got to fix. I think there are some things, that they, with COVID, they've brought out, with the season, with the runner on second base and the whole nine. But I don't know, man. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. But I guess it's here to stay, it looks like.
Most interesting conversation you ever had at first base?
Oh, most G-rated conversation I've ever had at first
Doesn't
base?
have to be G-rated.
I've had some pretty good combos with Albert Pujols, bro. I just think that, if you, when I first came up, those were the guys that you looked at, right? Those were the guys that you wanted to be like. And so for myself, being at first base and, playing first base and Barry Bonds comes over to first, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to ask him about hitting. But I think maybe one of my all-time favorite guys that I've ever gotten a chance to talk to at first base would have been Sean Casey, because he's the legend, bro, and he's the mayor, and Manny Ramirez, bro. Manny Ramirez can break down an at-bat better than anybody. And that's because it's so simple to him, the way he thinks about it. So for myself, man, just being able to get the opportunity to be there and talk to all those guys, there's not one conversation that really stands out in my mind. But, I seen Polar Bear Pete, bro. He got the microphone on at first base. I would have loved to have had that from the beginning of my career to the end to see what sort of stories would have came up.
Unbelievable, for sure. So that's interesting. So what's the one thing besides money that today's players have that you wish you had when you played?
Wow. Numbers, knowledge, education, more of an understanding of how pitchers will attack them. And I think that's what analytics has done, right? Analytics have exposed holes that you may not have known that you've had. And so I think for me, there's always trends. There's always ways that pitchers pitch you until you make an adjustment. It's like that game of chess going back and forth. So I think the thing that players have now that I wish I would have had a little more of would have been those numbers, that knowledge, that understanding of knowing that pitcher a little more than I already did.
All right, bonus question, last one. All right, baseball movies, the best one ever and why?
Oh, man, for the love of the game, bro. Kevin Costner, bro. I know you could say Major League, Sandlot, Bull Durham, bro, Field of Dreams. I could be up here all day, talking about those movies. But I think for myself, for the love of the game, really hit hard to my family, and it really hits me deep inside. So I don't know, man. I love that movie. Kevin Costner, bro, he's a stud. Anything he's in, I'm going to watch anyways, bro. So definitely for the love of the game, no doubt.
Awesome, Nick.